Long before the creation of the universe as we know it, there was nothing but darkness. In this infinite void, a being was born, a god of shadow and emptiness. His name was Knull. He was not born of creation, but of the very absence of light. And from the beginning, his existence was tied to darkness and destruction. Knull thrived in this void, a silent witness to the birth of life and light that emerged from the cosmic powers around him. He resented it. When the Celestials, the towering cosmic architects of creation, began shaping the universe, bringing forth stars and life, Knull's fury awoke. To him, these beings were invaders, disturbing the perfect void that had once been his domain. He saw their light as corruption, something that had stolen his peace. In response, Knull forged a weapon from the darkness itself, a blade imbued with his hatred, a sword known as All Black, the necrosword. With this weapon, he waged war against the Celestials and all those who dared to challenge the darkness. One of Knull's earliest victories came when he used the necrosword to strike down a Celestial, a feat no other being had accomplished before. This act of defiance sent a shockwave through the universe, a reminder that darkness could never be fully extinguished. Knull reveled in the power of destruction, and as the corpse of the fallen Celestial floated through space, Knull used it to create his first symbiotic creature, a creature made from the living darkness, capable of bending to his will. Thus, Knull became the father of the Symbiotes, creatures born from his very essence, designed to spread his influence across the cosmos. Empowered by their newfound creations, Knull set his sights on expanding his dark empire. The symbiotes linked to his consciousness were the perfect tools for the conquest. Knull's influence spread like a shadow over the universe as he unleashed the symbiotes upon countless worlds. These living beings bonded with the hosts, feeding on their strength, and Knull used them to impose his will, turning entire civilizations into agents of his darkness. But Knull was not merely a conqueror. His deep connection to the void gave him an understanding of the very fiber of existence. He believed that life itself was a mistake, a blight upon the perfection of nothingness. He saw himself as the bringer of balance, one who would return the universe to the peace and the void by eliminating all life. Knull became not only a god of darkness, but a god of annihilation, seeking to undo the light wherever it may appear. Over time, the symbiotes began to evolve, and they became more independent, less connected to Knull's direct control. Some symbiotes bonded with beings who embraced their newfound abilities but rejected Knull's influence. The symbiotes began to develop a form of collective consciousness, and in a dramatic turn of events, they imprisoned their creator within a distant planet made of their own mass. For centuries, Knull lay trapped, cut off from his children, seething in the darkness of his prison. Though the universe thought him defeated, his hatred and desire for revenge only grew stronger. And in time, he would break free and reclaim what he believed was truly his: total destruction of all creation. Eons passed, but Knull's imprisonment was never meant to be permanent. As the influence of the symbiotes spread across the universe, their presence eventually awakened Knull from his long slumber. He tore free from the prison that held him for millennia, his power and hatred unbound. the universe that had moved on without him would once again know the terror of the god of the abyss. In his return, Knull sought to reclaim the symbiote empire, but what he found was a universe filled with new heroes, new gods, new enemies. One of his greatest challenges came in the form of Venom, one of the most famous of the symbiotes, bonded to the human Eddie Brock. Venom, like other symbiotes, had broken free from Knull's control long ago, and in their defiance, Knull saw the potential for true rebellion against his dark will. Knull's arrival was heralded by the return of the symbiote dragon Grendel, a massive and ancient creature created by Knull himself. The dragon swept through worlds, leaving destruction in its wake, and as a reminder of Knull's reign. With Grendel leading his armies, Knull descended upon Earth, a world that had become the focal point for symbiote activity. The apex of Knull's return came during the events known as the King in Black. His conquest of Earth marked one of the most epic battles that the universe had ever witnessed. As Knull descended upon the planet, his symbiote army blanketed the skies, turning day into night. Superheroes and cosmic beings alike banded together to defend the world, but even their combined might seemed insignificant against the overwhelming power of Knull. One of the most intense moments of Knull's reign was his confrontation with the Silver Surfer, a herald of light. Knull, the embodiment of darkness, reveled in the opportunity to face a being who represented everything he despised. Though the Surfer fought valiantly, Knull's mastery over the void nearly consumed him, demonstrating just how formidable this ancient god truly was. Even Thor, the god of thunder, found himself overmatched when he faced Knull. The battle between the two gods shook the heavens, and Thor's lightning clashed with Knull's abyssal power. And yet, even as heroes like Thor and the Avengers fought desperately, Knull's power only continued to grow. Ultimately, the true key to Knull's downfall came from an unlikely place: Eddie Brock. Over time, Brock had formed a deep connection with the Venom symbiote, and through his connection he learned that the key to defeating Knull lay not in brute strength, but in unity and light. With the help of cosmic forces and the power of the Enigma Force, Eddie Brock transformed into the ultimate hero, Captain Universe. In this form, Eddie wielded a power greater than Knull had ever known, a power not born of destruction but from creation. Their final battle was nothing short of cataclysmic, with Knull's darkness clashing against the radiant force of life itself. And in the end, Eddie Brock as Captain Universe delivered the decisive blow, severing Knull's connection to the symbiotes and unraveling his control over the universe. Though Knull was defeated, his legacy endures. As the creators of the symbiote, his influence continued to ripple through the galaxy. Knull's story is one of immense power, but also of hubris. His belief that darkness could erase light and that destruction could undo creation was ultimately his downfall. And yet, what makes Knull such a compelling character is not simply his power, but his role as the symbol of pure nihilism. Knull represents the primordial force of chaos and belief that life is a mistake, a fleeting light in an otherwise perfect void. His motivations were never simple greed or conquest. They were driven by an existential desire to return the universe to its original state of emptiness. Knull's ability to challenge the gods, his creation of a species that spanned galaxies, and his manipulation of the very fabric of existence made him one of the most formidable and intriguing figures in Marvel's cosmic mythos. And his story is a reminder that in the battle between creation and destruction, it's the bonds between beings that ultimately prevail.